Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to BhagavatSanga program. This is our Srimad Bhagavatam program where we read the prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam. And the current theme which we are reading is prayers of Prthu Maharaj. These are beautiful prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, from verse 23 to 31. Today we have a very wonderful devotee, Prachi Mataji, who will be presenting the verses and realization. With that, I'll share my screen. Hare Krishna, Prachi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you, Satyasara Prabhu, Jaya Mataji, Veena Mataji, and Prashant Prabhu for giving me this opportunity to glorify the Lord and purify myself. First, let us start with the prayers. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjanashlakya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiryet Shanvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantastho hi abhadrani vidyunoti sulhitsita Nashtiprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So before starting the prayers of the Prthu Maharaj, so let me give some background about the birth and glories of Prthu Maharaj, just to purify myself. I know several devotees have already shared about those. So among the descendants of Dhruv Maharaj was a king named Anga, and the wife of Anga was Sunita. She gave birth to a son named Vena. And he was very crooked. Vena was very crooked, and the saintly king Anga was very disappointed with Vena's bad character, and he decided Queen Mother Sunita, and when with her permission, they installed Vena on the throne as the master of the world. King Vane became overly blind due to his opulence, and under the influence of his false ego, he stopped all kinds of religious rituals. He also insulted great sages, did not follow their advice. All the sages became so angry, and they killed Vane simply by just saying powerful mantras or high-sounding wounds. They just killed the Vane. So after his death, since there was no king, all the rogues and thieves flourishing, and the kingdom became very unregulated, and all the citizens suffered greatly. So on seeing this, the great sages prayed to the Lord to come down, and so they took the right hand of Vane's body, the dead body of Vane's, as a churning rod, and as a result of they started churning, and as a result of their churning, a male child, Prthu, was born. And from a female child, Archi, the wife of Prthu Maharaj, was born from the churning of left hand of the Vane. Appeared, Prthu Maharaj and Archi. And Lord Brahma examined the palms and feet of this male child, and seeing the disc and lotus flower mask, he could understand that he is the partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shaktavesh avatar of Lord Vishnu, and his wife Archi was no other than goddess of fortunes avatar. So the learned Brahmins, they were very attached to all these ritualistic ceremonies and everything. So they arranged for king's coronation ceremony, and Maharaj Prthu was appointed as the king. Maharaj Prthu, he was a great king. He received knowledge from Sanat Kumars, and at the time when he was appointed as the king, there was a scarcity of food grains. So when Prthu Maharaj saw that the conditions of his citizens was so pitiable, he became so angry at the earth, and he, taking his bow and arrow, he chased after the earth. So being afraid of King Prthu, the earth took the shape of a cow and began to run here and there in outer spaces between the heaven planets and the earth. So at last, this earth requested Prthu Maharaj to save her life, and Prthu Maharaj accepted her request, and he transformed Swambhu Manu into a calf and milked all the herbs and grains from the earth in the form of a cow, who was present in the form of a cow. And he kept all these foods and grains in his cupped hands. So the complete sight of the earth became so beautiful and attractive. All the citizens became happy to have such a good king. Prthu Maharaj, he performed Ashwamedh Yagna. And after 99 horse sacrifices were completed, Lord Indra, out of envy, he stole his sacrificial horse. When Prthu Maharaj found out, he became so angry and he wanted to kill Indra. But Lord Brahma stopped Prthu Maharaj and advised him to conclude only 99 sacrifices. He was such a pure devotee of the Lord. Lord Vishnu became very satisfied by the performance of these 99 horse sacrifices, and he appeared in the sacrificial arena. So Lord Vishnu instructed Prthu Maharaj and asked him to take any benediction that he likes. Prthu Maharaj worshipped the lotus feet of the Lord, and in full ecstasy, he offered beautiful prayers to the Lord. And these are the prayers that we are going to discuss today, which are from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 20th chapter, verses from text 23 to 31. So I will first start with reciting the 23rd verse. Prthuruvacha varan vibhotvad vardeshwarat buddha katham vranite guna vikriyatmanam yenarkanapi santi dehinam tani shikaivalyapate vranena cha. Translation: My dear Lord, you are the best of the demigods who can offer any benedictions. Why, therefore, should any learned person ask you for benedictions meant for living entities, bewildered by the modes of nature? Such benedictions are available automatically, even in the lives of living entities suffering in hellish conditions. My dear Lord, you can certainly bestow merging into your existence, but I do not wish to have such a benediction. So in these verses, like Prthu Maharaj addressed the Lord as Kaivalyapati. Kaivalyapati means like, because he's Pati means master, and Kaivalya is the benediction of liberation, right? Merging into Lord's existence. So Prthu Maharaj, he means he is a great devotee, and he is not at all interested in this benediction of merging into the existence of because the devotees consider that to be as equal as hell, nark, right? Because they will not be able to serve the Lord, and this will be like the most suffering and pain for the pure devotees if they are not able to serve the Lord even for a moment. And the reason he means, and he also said that you and he knows very well that he called the Lord as Kaivalyapati, so he knows very well that Lord is very much capable of for granting this benediction. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 51st chapter, 20th verse, where Muchukan's story was there, and where demigods stated this to Muchukan, that he can choose any benediction from them. And they said, but anything but liberation, because since only the infallible Supreme Lord Vishnu can bestow that. So demigods do have the powers, but they are getting all the blessings from Lord Vishnu himself. And they are some restriction because they are not the supreme. However, Lord Vishnu, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. He can take any benediction, give any benedictions. So since Lord and here Prthu Maharaj, like when he saw it, seems like since Lord may appear and disappear by his own will, seems like Prthu Maharaj wanted to quickly state that, okay, before the Lord goes, seems like that, okay, do not give me the benediction of merging into your existence, because he was like, no, absolutely, I do not want it at all. Right. And he states it very humbly and like, please do not give me any benediction of liberation. And in the next verse, he provides the reason why he don't want this benediction and what does he actually want. So next verse, 24th. Na kamayenat dadapyaham tvachin na yatra yushmach ucharam bujasavaha mahattam ananta hridayan mukha achyuto vidat swakarna yutamesha me varaha. My dear Lord, I therefore do not wish to have the benediction of merging into your existence, a benediction in which there is no existence of the nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. I want the benediction of at least 1 million years, for thus I may be able to hear about the glories of your lotus feet from the mouths of your pure devotees. So here in this verse, Prthu Maharaj provides the reason why he is not interested in merging into the existence. He stated that by merging into the Lord, he will not be able to taste the nectarine beverage of the Lord's lotus feet. There will be no relationship, right? Direct relationship with the Lord. And Prthu Maharaj made it very clear that he does not want to be merged into his existence. He clearly stated what he actually wishes is to have at least 1 million years. And one may ask, like, why 1 million years? Even one pair of ears is sufficient for hearing. But Prthu Maharaj explains the reasons. He stated that he wants to engage all his ears to hear glories about the Lord. And how does he want to hear the glories of the Lord is from the mouths of pure devotees who speak from the core of their hearts. So one of the aspects of Navdha Bhakti is hearing, Shravanam. So Lord's glories are unlimited. Like they say, Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. Unlimited numbers of devotees are constantly chanting the Lord's glories in multiple universes and planets. Even Anant Shesh, he eternally chants the glories of the Lord from each of his thousands hood, and yet he could not come to their end. So even in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 51, there are texts 36 and 37, which is part of the same Muchukand's story that when Muchukand asked the Lord about, okay, who are you and what is about your birth, your name, what are your activities. So Lord Krishna, he replied that his birth, activities and names are limitless and even he cannot count them. So Lord said, like, after many lifetimes, one might count the dust particles on the earth, but no one can ever finish counting my qualities, activities, names, and births. So therefore, we can clearly understand that when Prthu Maharaj was making this wish, he definitely had, being a pure devotee, he definitely had the very much understanding what he is asking for. So that even 1 million years will not be enough because the Lord is unlimited, he is Anant, and his kathas are also Ananta, right? Unlimited glories, and there are unlimited numbers of devotees, pure devotees also, who are constantly chanting Lord's glories. So he will never be, Prthu Maharaj felt like he will never be satisfied. So he wants like more and more years so that he can continuously absorb himself in hearing from all his ears about the Guruji of the Lord. So such a pure, beautiful wish. Next verse, 25. Sa uttam shloka mahan mukhya achyuto bhavat padambhoj sudha karanilaha smritim punarvismriti tattva vartamanam kuyoginam no vitratyalam varaha. My dear Lord, you are glorified by the selected verses uttered by great personalities. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction but the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotee. So Prthu Maharaj in this verse further explains the importance of hearing Lord's glories only from the mouths of the pure devotees of the Lord. So it is said that when one chants the Lord's holy names with pure love and devotion, the Lord basically dances on the tongue of the devotee. So the means he's really touching the tongue. He's really present on the tongue of the devotee. So the pure devotees, they are always engaged in chanting the Lord's names, and thus the sound vibrations, when it gets in direct connection with the dust particles from the lotus feet of the Lord, it then emanates from their mouths in the form of spiritual sound. And it has a very, very powerful effect on anyone who listens to these pure devotees attentively and submissively. It can instantly awaken the living entities and help them to remember their lost relationship with the Lord. That understanding that we all are parts and parcels of the Lord, and our constitutional position is to always love and serve the Lord. That is why it is very essential that whenever we get an opportunity to take darshan and listen from the mouths of pure devotees, we should never miss that opportunity. So Prthu Maharaj, which means this is a verse where we should learn from Prthu Maharaj that he requests the Lord to only give this benediction of opportunities to hear only from the mouths of the pure devotees. And he also very well understands that it's not that easy how it looks like. Okay, go to the pure devotee and you can get it. Prthu Maharaj very well understands that one cannot get in contact with pure devotees without the mercy of the Lord. So that is why he's basically asking the Lord, okay, Prabhupada, give me your mercy. Because they said, like in a Ramcharitmanas, there is a chapai, say, bin hari kripa milahi nahi santa. Like without God's mercy, it is not possible to approach a pure devotee as well. So that is why Prthu Maharaj is asking is praying to the Lord himself. He give this mercy that I may get in contact with your pure devotees and get to hear the beautiful glories of your. So next verse, 26. Yasha shivam srushrav are sangame yadrachaya chop shrunoti te sakret katham gunagyo virme dvina pashum shiryat pravarve good sangra grahe chaya. My dear highly glorified Lord, if one in the association of pure devotees hears even once the glories of your activities, he does not, unless he is nothing but an animal, give the association of devotees, for no intelligent person would be so careless as to leave their association. The perfection of chanting and hearing about your glories was accepted even by the goddess of fortune, who desired to hear of your unlimited activities and transcendental glories. So in this word, like in the first verse, the 23rd verse, Prthu Maharaj called the Lord as Kaivalyapati. And in this verse, he's addressing the Lord as Sushrava. Sushrava means, oh, highly glorified Lord. And Prthu Maharaj, he again emphasizes on the significance of hearing the glories of the Lord from the mouths of pure devotees. He's saying that one would be like an animal. Only if even after hearing Lord's activities from the pure devotees, does give up their association. Basically, he's stressing on how effective it is to hear from the mouths of pure devotees, that even if one hears from them, they immediately develop the taste of hearing Lord's glories, and thus they can cherish the nectar derived from hearing and would never want to give it up. Lakshmi Devi also, he gives the example of Lakshmi Devi, that she also is constantly engaged in the service of the Lord, and yet she wants to associate with the gopis who have perfected the love of God. And Lakshmi Devi constantly wants to hear the Lord's transcendental activities from their mouth. So this is how we should learn, and so many things to learn from these beautiful prayers. Next verse. Atha bhajetva akhil purushottamam gunalayam padma karev lalasa apyavayore kakapipsprado kalir Kalir nastyat kritatva charanek katanayo. Now I wish to engage in the service of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to serve just like the goddess of fortune who carries a lotus flower in her hand, because his lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the reservoir of all transcendental active qualities. I am afraid that the goddess of fortune and I would quarrel because both of us would be attentively engaged in the same service. So in this verse, here Lord is addressed as Akhil Purushottama. Akhil means the entire creation. Purush Uttam means the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prthu Maharaj mentions this desire to the Akhil Purusham, that he wishes to engage in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is Akhil Purushottama. Prthu Maharaj in the first wish was Shravanam, like to have millions of years. And in this text, he stated his second wish, which is Pad Sevanam. So he was so absorbed while mentioning this desire to the Supreme Lord, that I want to serve your lotus feet, that it feels like he was mentally serving the lotus feet of the Lord. And immediately he started visualizing that Lakshmi Devi is also constantly is also there and constantly engaged in Pad Sevanam. And he so Prabhupada actually in this purport he has made it very clear that Lakshmi Devi, she serves the Lord in Madhurya Rasa. However, Prthu Maharaj wants to serve him in Dasya Rasa, in the mood of a servant. And he Prthu Maharaj, he openly expresses his thoughts that since he and Lakshmi Devi both would be attentively engaged in the same service, that they may have a competition. But we should understand that unlike material competition, in spiritual world, this would be like without any malice, right? In spiritual world, devotees do not become envious, like rather they aspire from each other how to provide the excellent service for the pleasure of the Lord. Like, okay, wow, she's doing such a great service. So it's like, okay, they are want to do learn and do more and more from them. It is not like they are envious of the other devotees. So next verse, I think I will go with the translation of this verse. My dear Lord, the universe, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi is the mother of the universe. And yet, I think that she may be angry with me because of my intruding upon her service and acting on that very platform to which she is so much attached. Yet I am hopeful that even though there is some misunderstanding, you will take my part, and for you are very much inclined to the poor, and you always magnify even insignificant service unto you. Therefore, even though she becomes angry, I think that there is no harm for you because you are so self-sufficient that you can do without her. So in the interest of time, I will just quickly want to just highlight that this translation is pretty much self-explanatory, kind of. But in this prayer also, like all these verses, Prthu Maharaj is addressing the Lord with beautiful names, and in this verse, he calls the Lord as Jagadish. And Jagadish means the Lord of the universe, and he also calls him Deen Vatsala in the third line. He calls him Api Uru Deen Vatsala. So Deen Vatsala means favorably inclined to the poor. So it feels like okay, since Lakshmi Devi will be also there, but since I am the Deen and you are a Deen Vatsala, so you will actually show mercy me and take my side. So he's that much assured. The next verse, again, I will be reading the translation. Greatly saintly persons who are always liberated, take to your devotional service, because only by devotional, sorry, this is the text 29 right now. Yeah, great saintly persons who are always liberated, take to your devotional service, because only by devotional service can one be relieved from the illusions of material existence. Oh my Lord, there is no reason for the liberated souls to take shelter at your lotus feet, except that such souls are constantly thinking of your lotus feet. So in this verse, Prthu Maharaj addresses the Lord as Bhagavan, like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And one of the quick takeaway from this verse is like, he's stressing on the devotional service. So only by doing devotional service, one can be relieved from the clutches of the Maya. Okay. So the last verse, I will be jumping to the last verse, the text 31. Tvanmayayadhyajan ish khandito yad anyadashasht rata mano buddha yathakchared balhitam pita swayam tatha tvam evarhashi naha smritum. My Lord, due to your illusionary energy, all living beings in this material world have forgotten their real constitutional position. And out of ignorance, they are always desirous of material happiness in the form of society, friendship, and love. Therefore, please do not ask me to take some material benefits from you, but as a father, not waiting for the son's demand, does everything for the benefit of the son. Please bestow upon me whatever you think is best for me. So Prthu Maharaj, in this last prayer, he is basically showing that he fully surrenders to the Lord, like a small child, like calling out to his father. So he said that the Lord, your being our supreme father, you know everything what is best for us. So we all living things are bewildered cause of your illusory energy, and out of ignorance we think only about the material happiness, which is anyways temporary. Nothing, whatever the material desires that we may get, even to elevation to the higher planets like Indralok and Swargalok, everything is temporary. But since the Lord, you are our supreme father and you know very well what is best for us, and thus once we surrender to you, you will surely help us to come out of this ignorance and material entanglement and provide us with what is really best for us. So in this last verse, Prthu Maharaj requests the Lord to give him what the Lord thinks is best for him. Like a father, he knows well when to give us a bitter medicine or a sweet candy. We only need to sincerely surrender unto him and accept whatever he bestows upon us. In Dhruv Maharaj also in his prayers, he regretted that when he originally started the prayers, praying to the Lord, he had a desire to, he was asking from the Lord, which were just the broken pieces of glass. He really regretted it later. So that is why we should learn from these great devotees' examples, and we should not ask anything from the Lord rather than just try to do Nishkam Bhakti. So yeah, just quick some basic takeaways from these prayers of Prthu Maharaj is like, first one is we should always engage in Shravanam, hearing the glories of the Lord, right, to the best of our can. I know we do not have 1 million ears, and we did not even really ask for it. We never even asked the Lord for it, but at least one pair of ears, we should make the best use of those. Second is the Padasevanam, the devotional service. These are the things which pleases the Lord. And third is the most important is surrender to God with full faith in him. Do not ask him anything. He is our supreme father. He knows what is best for us. We just need to sincerely pray, love, and surrender to him. With that, thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. That was a fantastic presentation, very beautifully you presented. I think you already covered the key takeaways. So, but I would still add, I mean, that was beautiful, but I'll just add like 2 points that really caught my attention of how you said, in multiple universes, unlimited devotees are glorifying the Lord continuously. So Lord is being worshipped so much. So it just, we have to do our part. When we chant, we think we are doing a lot, but no, actually, that really struck to me. And the other point you said is never miss an opportunity whenever you get association of pure devotees. So we think it's coming easy. Okay, we will see our schedule. We'll see if we can attend. But no, it's not easy. It's only by mercy of Lord and devotees we are getting that opportunity, and we should never miss that. And finally, you said only by doing devotional service we can come out of Maya. So it's very important. Very nicely you recited the prayers and gave the background story also, Mataji. Thank you very much. It was a great presentation. With that, devotees, we conclude the BhagavatSanga program today. Thank you all very much for joining. We will see you all next week with with the next devotee presenting these verses. Hare Krishna.